Well, g'day. Another week, another blog. Here we are. Well, my thought for this week is all about time. As some of you know, my wife and I just travelled to Australia, and we spent some time with friends and family and had a really awesome Christmas down there. But one of the things that really stood out to me was time. And because when you're getting on planes, you become very aware of the time. And we had a bit of a fun time in London. We were catching the Piccadilly line out to Heathrow, and there was a bit of a problem on the tracks, and we got delayed. And a 45-minute journey took us, 2.5 hours. Now, we'd left that much time to get there, so we arrived just in time. And it was a pretty scary moment as you're standing there, you're waiting on the next train and you're going, oh, come on. We've only got 20 minutes and it's getting really tight and you can see the time ticking away and you're just like, ah. So time, guys, what do you do with your time? In today's world, time is a commodity. Some say that, time is more precious than gold. That actually, having time in the week to do stuff is more important than earning money. And people now talk about lifestyles and having time to do this and time to do that. Well, Jesus talks about this, and the world tells us an interesting story about treasure. So we treasure our time in some respects. And the world actually tells us, whatever's in your heart, do. Whereas Jesus says that where your treasure is, there your heart is. You see, your heart is a follower, not a leader. So I'm mashing together two concepts here, so bear with me. Your heart is a follower, not a leader. Everyone says follow your heart. The problem is that it's not a leader, it's a follower. And where your heart follows, according to Jesus, is where your treasure is. How does that work with time? Well, what time do you cherish? Where is your treasure in your time? Think about it. How much time did you set aside this week for leisure? How much time this week did you set aside to sleep? You might not be setting aside enough, and so you're tired. You might be setting aside way too much, and so you're tired, or whatever that result is. How much time are you giving to Christ? Because I think time shows where our heart is. The amount of time we spend on the Xbox, for example. Our heart's in gaming, we love it, and we're just boom, 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 and our treasure is, we value that highly. So where does God rate in that value system? Where does God rate in your time usage? Do you spend 10 minutes a day with God? Or is that pushing it? What about 2 minutes? If you divide the amount of time that you spend with God across 7 days, so you spend the amount of time, how many minutes a day are you spending with God? Are you recognizing God in your whole life? Is God with you in school? Is God with you at work? I don't know. Are you hearing from God? Are you giving God your best time, or the time that sort of comes at the end of the day when you're really tired and you're going to bed and you mumble a prayer and you kind of get into bed, which is probably better than not at all. So I don't feel burdened by this. There isn't a set amount of time. The Bible does not say anywhere you should spend 2 hours a day with God in a specific way, like reading your Bible or praying or, worship, singing songs or whatever it is that you're doing. 2 hours a day with God. You should spend that. No, it doesn't say that. It actually says make your whole life worship, make your whole life connected with God. But how much time are we specifically giving to focus in on God and what He has for us? It's a challenge. It's a challenge for 2013. How much time are you giving to what God's calling you to? Maybe God's calling you to be a leader within our youth ministry. How much time are you dedicating to that? Are you wanting to give the minimum amount of time or the maximum amount of time? Maybe God's calling you to be an evangelist on the streets, and you say, God, just I'll do 5 minutes on a Monday. That's what I can give you. How much time are we as people dedicating to the things of God? Do we come to church on a Sunday? Is that it? Is God the Sunday God, and we forget about God for the rest of the week, and then we kind of come in on another Sunday and we're kind of dry and parched and we haven't been filled with the Spirit again, and so we go, oh, whew, I got a Sunday, I get to be filled with the Spirit again. But that can happen on a daily basis, on a minutely basis. How are you going with your time allocation? Somebody once said to me, there is only so many hours in a day. It comes down to what you prioritize. So where are your priorities? Is it for fun? Maybe it's family time. Maybe you recognize you're not getting enough. Maybe you're getting too much. I don't know. It's just a challenge. It challenged me. How much time do I devote to my relationship with God? Think on that this week. Pray about that. Just think on that. How much time are you giving over? We all have busy schedules. We all have different priorities. The Bible asks us but one thing, that Jesus be our number one priority. That what He's calling us to do be number one in our lives. So do that in your time allocation. Make Jesus number one this week and for the rest of this year and the rest of your life. Just show it to Him in how we divide our time. Well, that's me out. That's just a challenge, another challenge in 2013. How are you using your time? All right, guys, God bless, and I'll see you next time.